With the titles such as Kaichu or Maid-sama, you'd think that it would be some mediocre maid anime. I was prepared to be unimpressed. Luckily, my first impression was trembled and I actually really enjoyed it. I love seeing the interaction between Usui and Misaki. Seeing a smug Usui making the all-confident Misaki blush again and again never gets old. And I enjoyed seeing the growing bond between the two. Progress of the plot is very slow. I was expecting that from a shoujo romance series, but the very rushed ending made me feel like the pacing of the series was kind of messed up. Monthly Girls no Saki-kun, a fairly recent series with comedy and romance being its primary attributes. The show starts with a girl hoping to express her feelings to a fellow classmate, but the cliché love confession and blunders create a new, refreshing rom-com. I laughed quite a bit at this one.
でも私、結構有名だと思ってたんだけどな。ちょっとショックだな。私は野崎くんしか見てなかったから。なんて言えるわけないですよね。でも鹿島くん確かにかっこいいな。何ここ、右向いても左向いても非常に悪すぎる。ミコリンのそばって落ち着くね。
なんだよ、褒めても何も出ねえぞ。
でも女の人がブリーフの絵なんて描くわけないじゃない。ねえ、ゆずきだったらどっちを自分のマークにしたい？そうだな、その2つならブリーフ。直線で描きやすそう。ゆずきのパパ、今日からゆずきのことブリーフって呼んでる。いや、千代が恥ずかしくないならそれでもいいけど、ブリーフでも桃引きでも。
Papa no Yukodo wa Kikanazai, also known as Listen to Me Girls, I'm Your Father. How would you make a new family bond? Put us all in a tiny room and make us live there for a month. That's the point of Papa no Yukodo wa Kikanazai. Bonding aside, there's also the unusual hijinks you'd expect when you put too many young people in the same room. There's a pretty big age gap between them, but since when has that been a problem in anime? Everything about this show at first glance screams that you could expect the sort of fetish crap that forms the bread to the oppai genre's milk for the otaku's daily intake of anime. I was pleasantly surprised to find this thoroughly entertaining. I have a habit of crawling deep under my duvet while watching this at night. Makes it all more cozy for the occasion.
ちょっと待って。おはよう。
Sakamichi no Apollon, also known as Kids on the Slope. I knew this was going to be good, but it was even better than I thought it would be. Maybe because it took a different direction than I had expected. There was a lot more romance and drama than music, which I'm not complaining about. The pacing was pretty comfortable too. The music performances are great. I'm a big fan of good jazz music, and Yoko Kanno is one of the best composers for this genre, so it was a real treat. Sakamichi no Apollon is a really good anime to watch. It's the type of anime that you want to marathon in one go. Kimi ni Todoke. The shy Sawako Koronuma has always been feared and misunderstood because of her intimidating appearance. Her classmates often call her Sadako after the ghost girl in the movie The Ring, and also have started rumors that she can see ghosts and curse people. This all changes when her crush, the popular Kazahaya, actually starts to talk to her. Suddenly, a whole new social world is opening up for Sawako.
こんなことになるなら、あの時にもっときつく。今からでも言っとけ。何がおかしいのよ、くるみ。そんなんだから風早に好かれないのよ。何、喧嘩売ってんの？元はといえば、あんたから聞いたよね、貞子の噂。あんた、私たちを利用したんじゃないの？そうよ。だってちょうどよかったの。私と同じくらい姑息そうだったから。自分から風早に告白もできないのに、沢子ちゃんに嫌がらせはできちゃうんだもん。何さ、そんなの。あんただって一緒でしょ？一緒よ。沢子ちゃん以外はみんな一緒よ。
Sakurasou no Kanojo. This is a really funny anime that I think rom-com lovers will seriously enjoy. It's mainly driven by the rivalry between Mashiro and Nanami for Sorata's attention. The object of jealousy is Nanami Aoyama, one of those childhood friends of our male hero who can't stand the idea of him doing any hanky-panky with the likes of Mashiro, and so, of course, she moves into Sakurasou herself. She's an aspiring voice actress. Did I mention that for some reason almost everybody in this cast wants to create stuff for otakus? I hesitate to call this a harem show, but only because a proper harem show in my opinion requires at least 3 females in pursuit of the male lead, and we've only got 2 here.
それより
お前のことだよ。椎名真白って言うんだ。今年から美術科2年に編入してきて、今は桜荘に住んでる。
桜荘に一緒に住んでるんだ。2人は随分仲がいいのね。
あ、いや、これは
空田が初めての男子なの。あんた、それ初めてってなんやの？
違う。おい、椎名、お前。
空田が初めての人でよかった。
待ってくれ、青山。
イギリスでは周りは女子ばかりだったから、仲良くなった男子は空田が初めて。
それを先に
いいえ、さっきの人に。
もういい。
This is a really unique anime. All 4 main characters are part of an undersea race. Manaka is a sea dweller who lives a cheery life alongside her lifelong friends Hikari, Chisaki, and Kaname. However, the middle school ends up getting shut down, which forces them to attend school up on the surface. The second half of the series takes a more somber, heart-wrenching, and philosophical direction that approaches the difficulty of change and the feelings that go with it. The story is incredibly addictive and will always find a way to leave you in dramatic suspense, eager to find out how the plot will progress and where the cast will go from there. The plot is incredibly engaging and surprisingly down-to-earth given most of its cast are basically mere folk that live in an undersea town. Naki no Asukara's story is incredible beyond all words, much like its dreamy art style. Sniffing different kinds of sweet-scenting candy while watching this adds a whole new layer to the atmosphere, an experience that I won't forget.
俺は見てしまったんだ。誰かが誰かと特別な出会いをしたその瞬間を。
Clannad After Story. The first season of Clannad is very standard in terms of story but had a sense of humor. This season reverses that and we're treated to a wonderful drama. Harem anime rarely goes beyond high school. The reason probably has to do with the despair of being one individual amongst millions, and the loss of intimacy in an environment like high school. Clannad After Story does go beyond high school and draws on this despair as we see Tomoya trying to find a job as well as coping with his personal life. What's even better is the focus on family. Unlike Naruto, the theme of family in Clannad After Story is not one-dimensional and centered selflessly on the main character. We get to see the feelings that each of the family members feel, and the anime takes great pains to ensure that every character has their feelings sorted out. Toradora. Thanks to the menacing look in his eyes, Ryuga Takazu has a reputation as a dangerous delinquent in his school, even though he is responsible, generous, and dedicated to house chores. In his same class, the petite Taiga shares the same reputation, although more justifiably so. There isn't much to really comment on the story, as the plot itself is rather straightforward and simplistic. With a cast of endearing characters and a nice blend of humor and drama, Toradora is certainly entertaining and worthy of its hype. It may not offer anything new to the genre, but it does it well. Lovely complex. Koizumi Risa and Otani Atsushi are known as the comedy duo not just because they're funny together, but mostly because of their difference in height. Risa is quite tall for a girl her age, as Otani is short. They're always fighting and teasing each other until they suddenly feel something more than friendship happening between them. A series that brings out the fun-filled days of teenage life, Lovely Complex has become one of my all-time favorite romance animes.
それです、大谷くんです。あ、大谷くん、すごい喋りやすいね。せやろ？多分小さいから男って感じがせえへんねやわ。
おっしゃー。
大谷撃沈や。うわー、悲惨。こんなん大谷が聞いとったらどうな。
おはよ
大谷、おはよう。おはよう、大谷くん。
う。おはようございます、田中さん。昨日はとても楽しかったです。
パキンって。
大谷くんって面白いな。
大谷？
僕は大谷じゃありません。小さいので小谷です。
しっかりせえ大谷！
小谷です。小谷は今日欠席すると先生にお伝えください。
大谷や。
Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso. Shigatsu deals with the story of Kosei Arima and his inability to play the piano. Through chance, he meets Kaori, who is a free-spirit musician that somehow brings color to his monochrome world and also begins to show him that there is more to music than the rigid style he grew up learning. As of late, this is a light-hearted romantic comedy with shades of romantic drama revolving around music. It's too early to say where the story will head or what will become of the characters, but A1 Pictures seems to be doing a great job of handling the story so far. I'd go as far as to say that Shigatsu is something that you have to watch in anime form rather than manga for one simple reason: the music. When you're done with the first episode, you'll be addicted, even more as the series progresses. What I really love about the show is the dynamic between Kosei and Kaori. The thing that drives me up a wall with Shigatsu is the fact that as a fan of romance, I am a die-hard shipper. If I'm watching something and my ships don't really set sail, I'm gonna get salty as fuck. For the record, I usually hate it whenever a romance show I'm watching fucked with my ships. I'm still salty about how Tomoya didn't choose Kotomi by the end of the first season of Clannad. I tend to hold grudges over this kinds of shit. At the same time, that's kind of the reason why I enjoy this show so much. It's not even just the ships that makes me love the show, it's the fact that I care about the characters enough to the point where I actually want them all to have a happy ending.
このドレス似合う？新調したの。
潔く辞退した方が傷は浅くて済む。こんなんじゃ恥かくだけだ。
無視。どうかね、落ち着いた？
いきなり何するんだよ。
私を見て。顔を上げて。私を見て。下ばかり向いてるから五線譜の檻に閉じ込められちゃうんだ。大丈夫、君ならできるよ。ずっと昼休み聞いてたでしょ。譜面はいつも目に入るところにあったでしょ。私たちならできる。モーツァルトが空から言ってるよ。旅に出ろって。旅の恥はかき捨て、思いっきり恥かこうよ。二人で。
Honey and Clover. From the moment I saw the opening sequence with clay renditions of food arranged in creative ways, I knew this was going to be a very unique show. And indeed it was. The characters in Honey and Clover are a very important part of the series, and all of them develop well and become great characters. Even Hagumi, who is practically perfect in every way in the beginning, grows to have some flaws. Shinobu is the funniest of the bunch, who supplies a good portion of the humor. While Yuta is sort of angsty, he is never overbearingly annoying, and Takumi and his relationships with Rika and Ayumi are also engaging. Honey and Clover literally has one of the best romance stories ever told in anime. Even if you're not a fan of romance, this title is sure to sway you into the genre. You'll learn the beauty of friendship, and you'll see there's more to love than just having it your way. A story of appreciation, love, and friendship.
そういう飲み方はよしなさい。ちょっと横になって。
何お前やものバカ。もっと飲めるに。
美脚？いやいや大丈夫。君らもきっと大人になったらこういう足になれるからな。なんであんたまで泣く？そっちは笑いだ。
わかんないんだもん。もうずっと好きで好きなのに。でもマヤマの悪いとこしか浮かんでこなくて。でも声とか聞きたいし手とか触りたいって思うんだもん。
そっか、すげえなお前。恋してんだな、恋。
何冷静に観察してんのよ。つうか今更何よ。
先輩、森田先輩、起きて。もう9時半ですよ。起きてください先輩。森田先輩。あ、起きた。
やあ、ありがとう竹本君。目が覚めたからあと5分寝かせてくれたまえ。
やってみたいことがたくさんある。私の中に作ってみたいものが果てしなく散らばっている。この箱を けたい。でも全部開けるには人間の一生は短すぎる。人一人の人生では開けられる箱の数に限界がある。でも一緒に戦ってくれる人がいれば、その人がいれば